of Mayotte. And in sports, Nigeria Football Federation set to unveil Super Eagles' new coach to fans. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. The Lagos State government has reiterated its readiness to integrate mini and midi buses, popularly known as Korokwe and Danfo, operating along the Lekki-Ajah axis into the state's bus reform initiative. Special advisor to the governor on transportation, Sholagiwa, made this known during a meeting with relevant stakeholders in Alausa. He explained that the project is in its planning phase and will commence once all arrangements are finalized. Reviewing the progress made so far, Giwa revealed that the documentation process for bus operators interested in the scheme is ongoing, with 10 operators having submitted letters of intent to the Ministry of Transportation, of which 6 have already been confirmed. He stated that all participating buses will undergo physical verification by the Vehicle Inspection Service (VIS) and the Motor Vehicle Administration Agency (MVAA) to ensure their roadworthiness and proper documentation, stressing that once verified, the buses will be branded in the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority (LAMATA) colours and will be equipped with validators. Giwa noted that a framework is being developed to integrate union dues deductions into the e-ticketing system, while also addressing the activities of hoodlums who extort transporters along the axis, stressing that the initiative will be test run for 3 months before full enforcement. He emphasized that once the program is implemented, minibuses, Korokwe, will no longer be allowed to operate along the Lekki-Ajah Expressway, but will be deployed to inner routes and communities. The Lagos State government has urged labour unions in the broadcasting stations of the state to rethink their plan to proceed on an industrial action for the amicable resolution of the dispute. This is after the unions served a strike notice. The proposed strike, which is planned to start on Monday, January 13, is to press home the demand of the Nigerian Union of Journalists and Ratau that the state government should migrate their members to mainstream civil service. In a statement, Commissioner, Establishment and Training, Afolabi Ayotayo, says consideration of the request was initiated through a meeting between representatives of the government and the leadership of the unions on January 8. Ayotayo notes that the meeting rose with a resolution that the agitation of the unions will be presented to the Lagos State Executive Council. According to him, entry into the Lagos State Civil Service has laid down policies and procedures. The Lagos State Internal Revenue Service (LIRS) has issued a reminder to all employers in the state to fulfill their statutory obligations to file annual tax returns for the 2024 financial year on or before January 31. This requirement is in line with the Personal Income Tax Act PITA Cap P8 LFN 2004 as amended. In an official statement, Executive Chairman of LIRS, Ayodele Suber, emphasized that meeting this deadline is a legal obligation, warning that failure to comply will result in statutory sanctions, including penalties as prescribed by law. Suber stressed that employers must prioritize the timely filing of their annual income tax returns to avoid penalties, noting that submitting returns on or before the deadline ensures compliance with the law and supports accurate revenue tracking, which is essential for Lagos State's fiscal planning and sustainability. He said to simplify the process, LIRS has transitioned to a fully digital filing system, and employers must file their annual tax returns exclusively through the LIRS e-tax portal, as manual submissions are no longer accepted. Sabera described the e-tax platform as secure, user-friendly, and designed to provide employers with a convenient way to manage their tax obligations. Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has pardoned 40 prison inmates. This, the governor said, is to demonstrate his administration's commitment to justice reforms and reintegrating convicts into society. According to the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Olukayode Ajulo, the pardon highlights the governor's dedication to mercy and rehabilitation. The pardons, granted on the recommendation of the Advisory Council on the Prerogative of Mercy, include the outright release of 15 convicts effective Sunday, 12th of January. Ajulo, who also chairs the Advisory Council, explained that these decisions were informed by careful deliberations considering the nature of offences, the inmates' age, health, behaviour, and duration of incarceration. Now to the rest of the stories. House of Representatives has taken a step to strengthen anti-corruption fight with the introduction of a bill to encourage whistleblowers to expose corrupt practices, particularly in the public sector. The bill, which proposes a fine of 2 million naira or 2 years imprisonment for disclosing a piece of confidential information provided by a whistleblower, may be considered as lawmakers are set to debate its general principles upon resumption of plenary duty next week. The whistleblowing bill, which was read on the floor of the House for the first time on November 21, 2024, seeks a legal and institutional framework for the regulation and management of whistleblowing and protection of whistleblowers in Nigeria. A copy of the bill, sponsored by the spokesman for the House of Reps, Akan Usen, showed that the proposed legislation aims to encourage and facilitate disclosure of unlawful activities that impact the management of public and private offices as well as national security. It also seeks to protect whistleblowers from reprisal or other adverse consequences, ensure that information or disclosure received from a whistleblower is properly assessed, investigated, and acted upon, as well as establish an appropriate framework to reward a whistleblower. The proposed law, according to Rotimi, shall apply to whistleblowers and whistleblowing in relation to unlawful activities or offences under any legislation relating to terrorism, money laundering prevention, and prohibition. The bill is expected to undergo further legislative action in the weeks ahead as the House reconvenes for plenary duty on January 14. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, for the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, ADSW. Tinubu's trip to the Middle East is at the invitation of the President of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Mohammed Al Nahyan. Special Assistant to the President on social media, Dada Olusegun, announced Tinubu's arrival in a post on his X page. The summit, with the theme The Nexus of Next, Supercharging Sustainable Progress, is scheduled to run from 12th to 18th of January in Abu Dhabi. The event will bring together global leaders to accelerate sustainable development and advance socio-economic progress. In Abu Dhabi, the president is expected to deliver a speech highlighting his administration's key reforms, particularly in energy efficiency, transportation, public health, and economic development. During the visit, Tinubu and his delegation are expected to hold discussions with UAE leadership to strengthen bilateral relations and explore opportunities for economic and diplomatic partnerships. Minister of Women Affairs Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim has proposed that every stage of climate action planning and implementation must include women. This, she said, is because not only are they victims of climate change, but women are key solution providers in combating its impacts. Sulaiman Ibrahim stated this during a meeting with the Director General of the National Council on Climate Change, Nkiruka Madueke, who also highlighted the critical link between climate change and its impact on women during a courtesy visit. The minister emphasized that climate change is a priority issue for the ministry, assuring the Director General of the ministry's commitment to working with the National Council on Climate Change to empower women as agents of change in building a more sustainable and climate-resilient Nigeria. On her part, Madueke stressed that women are among the most affected by climate-related challenges, particularly in rural areas where they rely heavily on natural resources for their livelihoods. And now to foreign news. The French Indian Ocean territory of Mayotte has been hit by further heavy rains, leading to flooding and mudslides. 1 month after Cyclone Chido devastated large parts of the islands and left dozens dead. The archipelago was put on the highest state of alert as another storm passed by on Sunday morning, with authorities warning of violent winds, flash floods, and landslides. Videos on social media showed downed power lines and some flooding, while local television reported that the southern village of Mboni, the only settlement left untouched by Cyclone Chido, was underwater. The latest storm, Dikeledi, made landfall in northern Madagascar on Saturday, killing at least 3 people, while at least 14,500 people have taken refuge in emergency shelters set up to protect them from the storm. Now sports. The Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) is set to present to the public the new head coach of the Super Eagles, Eric Sekou Chelle. The event has been scheduled for the media conference room of the MKO Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, on Monday by 11 a.m. NFF's President Ibrahim Gusau appealed to Nigerians to come together and support him, as the NFF believed he has the qualities to achieve success with the Super Eagles. Gusau noted that at the unveiling, the NFF will also announce the names of Coach Chelle's assistants with a crew to shepherd the Super Eagles B at next month's Africa Nations Championship in East Africa. This is before focusing squarely on the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign, beginning with the matches against Rwanda away and Zimbabwe home in March. And that's all for the news at 6. Remember to always wear your seatbelt when driving. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. On YouTube, subscribe and watch us live on our channel Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that under the Sanwo-Olu administration, 18,000 teachers were trained under Eco Excel? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Lagos State Government has reiterated its readiness to integrate mini and midi buses, popularly known as Korokwe and Danfo, operating along the Lekki-Aja axis into the state's bus reform initiative. The House of Representatives has taken a step to strengthen anti-corruption fight with the introduction of a bill to encourage whistleblowers to expose corrupt practices, particularly in the public sector. We also told you that the French Indian Ocean territory of Mayotte has been hit by further heavy rains, leading to flooding and mudslides 1 month after Cyclone Chido devastated large parts of the island and left dozens dead. And in sports, the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) is set to present to the public the new head coach of the Super Eagles, Eric Sekou Chelle. For contact with the newsroom, please send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Adewale Oluwaboroku. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good evening.